Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome to Second Breakfast with me and the Morning Reprobates. Speaking of reprobates, who have we got here in the back room? Dean, how you doing, buddy?
A lot better compared to yesterday.
Yeah, you were a bit quiet yesterday. Tried to keep you, engaged and
Oh yeah,
whatnot, but I
yeah,
could tell you were like, oh man, yeah.
yeah.
So
I
glad
really,
you feel better.
I kind of tried, but it was the usual latency, and then also my brain just going slower, so it's hard to jump in.
And we had some uh, a lot of people yesterday. It
Yeah.
was good. I'm glad you were there though. Uh, so how you doing? What's new? Anything?
RPG wise, not really. It's mostly
Anything at all,
been.
man?
Hmm?
It doesn't always have to be this
Oh yeah.
you know silly
Well, I
stuff we
got.
talk about.
I gone to what do you call it, like a foot therapist to get some specialist shoe inlays, and that's pretty exciting, all things considered, because walking is kind of important.
Excuse me. Sorry, I was laughing so hard I coughed. Yeah, both my parents couldn't. So yeah, I'm very familiar with how that must suck, not
Yeah.
being able to get around. Yeah, anytime anything gets in the way with that, then everything else just kind of shuts down your mood, your ability, your activities. Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan. I don't like walking though for no reason. Like the wife's always like, "Let's go for a walk," and I'm like, "Where? What are we gonna do? Just walk." I don't want to do that. I want to do something else, and walking just happens to be the way to do it. Like I
That's
love going to the freaking swap meet, flea
going to
market,
what?
swap meet, flea market, like open air
Oh yeah.
markets where people
Oh,
are
those are
selling their
great.
junk. Where they're
I
selling junk. Oh my god, I've had so much fun at those kinds of things. Just even if I
Yeah,
walk away
really.
with nothing.
Yeah, I really wish. So we have like I don't know if it's called a thrift shop, which is commercial, but something like a flea market. And
Uh,
the problem is just what do you call it? It's very much directed at women and children. So it's kind of hard finding anything that's interesting other than like DVDs or like jewelry.
yeah, and books. Oh my god, I love finding books at those kind of places. But they tend to be the same crap, you
Yeah.
know. But every once in a while, I get lucky. I picked up a copy of an original copy of James Bond Doctor No, like first print at one of those shops, and I'm like, oh my god, they don't realize, this is like it's not worth a crap ton of money, but it's getting hard to find
Oh yeah,
any
that's
of the James Bond books without them being edited.
yeah.
For racist comments. Shut up. That's how
Yeah,
people talk.
that's the thing I really wish they would rewrite. I don't know they're never gonna do it, and even public domain is what do you call it? Tricky. But I just wish like they would save the manuscript, and then like you could get your own copy of like old stuff,
Yeah,
even if it's
yeah.
not like an authentic copy, just so it's
Yeah,
preserved.
but that's kind of for me. Like, I mean, I totally get like the print on demand kind of thing. I love it, but there's something about finding like an old book. Like
Oh
Shawnee
yeah,
used to give me a lot of shit. Why do you want somebody's smelly old book? Because it's got history, it's got soul, it's got coffee stains and things like that make you wonder what was the guy doing or drinking or thinking when he was reading this book and spilled coffee all over it, or why is this page dog-eared, why is there a bookmark in it. I found a book with, remember, you probably don't remember, back in the day there used to be these carbon copy things that you had to do for credit cards. You'd put this
I
carbon.
do.
Okay, I found one.
I never used one because when I was 18, they'd gone over to like the chips over here, so I
Right, but
didn't even get to use the funny magnetic stripe.
no, 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 no. It was a piece of paper with a carbon paper under it, and they would put the credit card in it and rub this machine
Oh yeah, I've
over it.
seen those. I just never used one.
And I found one in a book as a bookmark, and I'm like,
That's cool.
it's useless. Back in the day, people could use those to steal your credit card information, but it was just weird. It's like, when was the last time like anybody interacted with one of these things? It's got to
Eighties,
be,
nineties.
right? And I'm like, I left it in there as a bookmark. I'm going to use it for myself just because someday, Jackie's going to be like, "What the hell is this weird ass piece of paper? It's like see through and weird." And I'm just like, "Yeah, hey squirrel, get your butt in here if you can. If not,
And I have one that's more fun. Like the save icon is like not a hard drive. Okay, now it's a bad thing. I don't remember what it's called, but like it's oh yeah, diskette, like uh, a
the
floppy disk.
floppies."
Floppy, yeah. I seen a funny one for Japan. It's not like what is this? It was more like why is the save icon like a vending machine with like a soda in the bottom?
Some
Speaking
of
of
those,
being old,
some of those old things, like when I was little, they used to have shops, thrift shops and stuff like that. They would have things from, back in the old west. It was still like
yeah,
and nobody cares. It's an old coffee grinder or a sausage maker, or whatever. And now you just don't see that stuff. And when you do, it's like an antique and it's worth like a crap ton of money.
yeah,
And so much of that stuff just like got tossed away. And I don't know. I just have an appreciation for the old stuff, just so we could see what it was like. Because Firefly is a perfect example. I think that when or if I should say, we ever go to other planets and we start having to try to start over, it's going to be simple things like that are more important to get society going
yeah,
than electronics and stuff that can fail. A simple mechanical, you know, egg beater or sausage grinder or whatever is going to be far more important than your smartphone, when it comes to the long-term survival. And there's just something about it. I don't know.
yeah.
Am,
And
am I, am I
Shadow, I
weird?
know you don't drive because of previous health conditions,
Sure.
but basically where you find old books that are well not worth something but like interesting and collectible and so forth is not by the tourist traps but the small cities outlying those like off
Mhm.
the dirt roads or something like that. That's usually those used stores you find them nowadays because
I
every
live in one.
library and so forth have been robbed, so to speak.
I live in one of those kind of cities. It's out in the middle of kind of nowhere, but we don't have a used bookstore because even this place is pretty modernized. Hey, we got squirrel
Hey,
coming in
squirrel.
hot. Oh no, here he comes, Squirrelerino. Hey, bro, how
Hey,
you
what's
doing?
up? How you guys doing?
Just
How's
chilling.
lunch?
Just chilling. Yeah, I was gonna ask. How's
Lunch?
lunch?
Yeah,
It's good.
yeah.
It's good. Some smoked turkey, some Colby Jack, and some tomato and herb fachada bread.
That sounds great.
Tasty. So how you been, man? What's new? Working like a dog?
And of course, we're just up here. We're out at Shelby, North Carolina, at a copper plant doing demo work. KT Grant's here. We're just watching them get the big stuff, making sure they get what we need out of there, and then we'll go in by hand and get the little bits. Doing scheduling for the guys that are coming in for nights and days, and scheduling on all the different brick and what goes where, because there's 4 or 5 different types of brick that go in different layers and different areas, and just getting set up before we really get it hot and heavy.
Oh, it's crazy, man. That's crazy. Some of those things you've sent me uh, actually kind of inspire me for some of the sci-fi ideas I've got. I've been reading and watching videos about like the moon and Mars and digging deep, so that instead of having to build something, we just dig something. A place to live, a habitat, that kind of thing just fascinates the hell out of me. The idea that we could be there deep underground doing crazy stuff someday.
Yeah, yeah. Who
And
knows? We
those
probably
those
already
those
are.
wouldn't surprise me, but
No,
you
wouldn't
know,
either.
yeah. Hey, Bo,
I
what's
keep.
happening, man?
Hey, Bo.
Hey,
Hey,
Bo. Glad to see you're actually doing what you named your channel.
I
Yeah,
I
right.
I paint on all the. I try to paint on all the streams.
same here, same here. We actually just kind of putting the finishing touches on this creepy crawler, trying to make it look really grungy.
That's
I'm
awesome.
using I'm using the Tamiya. What do they call these? Uh, weathering powder. You ever use these?
I, I have those.
Um,
Those are great.
Um, I like the problem I have
and
with to me is that it's more like a grease paint or a makeup than a real powder.
yeah,
I
yeah.
like the
But
old
that's kind of what I was looking for.
no, I get that. It's harder for me to get. I mean, I've used it for like rust effects, but I
That's
don't get
exactly what I was doing. Rust and
I don't
shine.
get the dusty look that I want from them. I've got them and I do use them, but I prefer the old secret weapon powders. And when they went out of business, it was a real kick in the groin because they were actual pigment powders.
Yeah, but don't they rub off like really easy?
Well, no, you got to seal them down with like a matte either a matte or a satin varnish. You don't
Yeah, I
just
almost never use those. I almost never
you don't
use
just put
those
them down and
sprays.
leave them. You put them down and you put them down and then you seal them. But I mean, I usually seal my minis anyway. So
Same here.
Yeah, I stopped doing that a long time ago because I used to have a side hustle of buying and selling miniatures. I still do kind of. I just sold two minis for $40 the other day. But anytime I got a mini that was clear coated, the strip time back down to the plastic or metal was like, you know, magnified on orders of magnitude that I can't, just it was hard to get that stuff
my
off.
minis aren't for sale.
Well, that's you. I still have to this day probably about 1,000 minis I would happily sell at the right price, but it's so much work, and I'm
I buy
lazy.
that for $1.
Yeah,
Someone had to say it.
yeah. I've been watching. I'm getting ready to do an actual video, Squirrel. You might get a kick out of this of how minis have changed from 1979 to now.
Oh
You
yeah,
probably remember Hinchcliffe and what the hell was it? Minifigs? Those
yeah,
lines, how primitive they were, but how freaking absolutely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs we were about anything that came out back then versus now. You just go push a button, print. Oh, now I've got something that's
yeah,
looks a million times better.
yeah.
But
Well,
then if you look at it wrong, it cracks, breaks, snaps, falls
oh,
apart.
Oh yeah.
yeah. That's all we had though. Then of course we're gonna go, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
And I want to show off some like really old minis uh, from back then that to me are still Do you remember Max Carr, the sculptor,
Yeah, the name sounds familiar. Yes,
Heritage Miniatures? How
Heritage.
Heritage,
Okay.
how all the faces had this sort of kind of cartoony look, but they had so much character to them. Versus now, everybody's all grim and stoic and perfect. There was this little Hobbit miniature from the Dungeon Dwellers, uh, Caverns of Doom. It was this little, tiny little Hobbit, right? It was about this freaking big, like a centimeter tall, mostly cloak and afro. But he had this chubby little cheeks and look to him that was just like unforgettable. If you've ever seen it, you know what I'm talking about. If not, I'll try and show it off. It was just a cute little hobbit with a bow and a cloak and hood, and that was all. That was all that was there. It was just a lump, you know. of
Yeah,
Had its own charm.
I think I would love that because I can enjoy grimdark, but it's not my favorite genre. My favorite thing is it can be hard, but it has to be a good ending. Like earn your happy ending. That's how that's the most dark I like. I don't like downer endings. I don't like anti endings and so forth.
I'm a sucker for a happy ending. I was just thinking about that the other day. I was watching something, and it was talking about beginnings, are hard, and I'm like, yeah, but if your ending is awful, everybody dies. I just wasted all that time. I want some sort of victory, some sort of the lovers get back together, some sort of to make it worthwhile, not just like, oh, that could be me and it would suck. No thanks.
Or
I don't want.
or is a
Yeah.
middle point like Empire Strikes Back, where we have got some losses, but we can fight another day, and then the sequel comes. Where they
Yeah,
went. That's
Empire
also
was
good.
the best. Empire was oh my god. When I was a little kid, that book came out before the movie, or kind of about the same time, and I was reading the book as a little kid. I was what, like 12 maybe. And I got to the "I'm your father." I'm like, no. My parents are
Okay,
like, what's
now
wrong? I'm
we
like,
if Shadow was a small kid at 12, now we know like he was like a 6'8" tall giant at 13.
which is weird because I'm only 5'10" now.
Uh,
Um, but then we went to the theater to see it. I'm like, just all like, I hope it's wrong. I hope the book is wrong. And of course it wasn't. It was spot on. Hey, what's up, Death Angel? But it was awesome. It was, it did, like you said, there was a little bit of hope there.
yeah,
It's not all over. It sucked, but we'll come back strong next time. And then, of
Yeah.
course, it did.
Yeah.
and the first movie also has a moment like that. When Obi-Wan dies, he's like, Luke is
Oh,
like, I can't believe he's gone. And Leia like puts a hand on him or something like that. That's also like
That was the dumbest part of the whole movie.
that's not what was going on. I was going like that's like the ending to what do you call it? Empire Strikes Back, but it continued
Right.
in
But her planet
so
just got blown up. And we're supposed to be she's supposed to be giving sympathy for this farm boy, for this guy that she barely knew, when like her parents are dead, her family is dead, her planet's destroyed, everything's gone, but
you
we're supposed to
totally,
forget about that?
you totally
so
missed the point, Bo. That just shows what kind of a character and what kind of character she has.
yeah,
She's
she's
so
supposed to
strong,
be a leader of men, even if
and
she's
that's
not.
what she's doing. Yeah, her feelings are nothing compared to someone she has to look over and continue to guide, because let's face it, they probably wouldn't have made it out of the Death Star if she hadn't kicked him in the ass
Also,
and
there
taken
was
some
like
decisive
30
action.
to 40 minutes left. They didn't have a time to introduce another character.
Yeah.
But mostly what you said, Shadow.
Yeah, she was super strong, and you can also look at it like somehow the force, or whatever you want to call it, drew her to him, because they're twins, and she's got to pick up the slack and emotionally support him, so that he can physically support her later, kind of thing. I don't know. It just I didn't look at it so
You don't
cynically.
even need the force
That,
at that point. Just what you started out with is, yeah. Because
yeah,
they still haven't decided that they were siblings yet. If you look at the flirting and
you're
all that.
right, right,
Yeah.
but
That's why he's
it
making out with
worked.
her in the second movie.
Hey, worse things
Well,
have happened in history, and,
and
Well,
and
yeah, that's right. If you can't keep it in the family, keep it in your pants.
no, in all due
Yeah,
fairness, though,
yeah, yeah. You can.
I would
Oh, sorry.
probably make out with my hot twin sister if I didn't know she was my twin sister.
well, not to mention the whole point was so that she could really get under Han Solo's skin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the whole point. Was
Yeah, it
she,
was a jealousy move.
well, yeah, it was to make him jealous, and you know,
But
it
yeah,
worked. And poor
yeah.
Luke. Oh man,
And
just the
and here we
universe's
know why
whipping
I'm
boy.
not a protagonist material. Because if Obi-Wan told me Leia was my sister, my reaction would be, "Thank you for telling me now and not later."
Yeah.
That would have been my first reaction.
Yep. Hey, I got to get off here, folks. I am going to put together sometime this week a video about all my travel stuff.
Cool.
Okay,
So
love to
keep
hear
your
it.
eyes peeled. My miniatures travel kit, I guess you could call it.
I want to
So,
see that. I wouldn't mind seeing your top 10 favorite wandering monsters as well. All you guys out there, that was actually more fun than I thought. I was running behind, like scrambling for an idea, and I was going to do a different wandering monster idea, but I'm like, you know what? Let's knock that one out first, so that people can get an idea where I'm coming from, because uh, it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah. So Shadow, I already have one, but that's for modern or urban fantasy games. The guy you're breaking into the house of just randomly going for a snack in the kitchen. That's my favorite
Okay.
random encounter, not random, wandering monster.
Okay. I've done something similar. I had something like that once upon a time. Um, Make a list of 10. Let's see it. Let's hear it. Take care, Squirrel. I was just reading Death Angel. We got a new team lead. At least he games. You know, cool. I hope that works out and you guys become fast friends, that sort of thing. I've been in this same town 15 years. Not one Smeggin guy or gal I would invite into my house to play games. Not one. And Jackie's got 9. Like, lucky kid.
I will also give Jackie credit that I don't think you can recruit from his high school.
No,
Yeah, that
no.
would
I
be
would probably get
tricky.
a lot of trouble for that.
Yeah.
A lot of trouble. Uh, and good on them, because nobody should do that. Although it kind of bums me out, because when he first started going to high school, he neglected to tell me that there was a Dungeons and Dragons club, and I could have just like piled stuff on that club in the way of books and minis and stuff, and helped him and you know probably 50 kids do that whole West Marches thing or whatever, if he had not done that. But he's kind of embarrassed, of being the little kid, the little, squeaker, as he called it, on the show. He still won't tell his friends about the channel. He doesn't want me telling anybody either. But someday,
I mean,
someday they'll
that's
figure it
fair.
out.
It could also just be like he didn't want you to be the Zuckerman version of the D&D club.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which is weird, because when he was in elementary school, I did the Lego club for his elementary school, which is unfortunate, because it only lasted 1 year, but it was a lot of fun, uh, for the kids, because, I mean, Legos, I mean, right? Uh, who doesn't like Legos except when you step on
Yeah.
them?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what you painting, Bo?
Plague Marine.
Plague Marine?
I got about infinity of them.
I mean,
So
they
that's
do
where they all
spread
went.
like the plague.
Yep. They spread the plague. They spread Nurgle's blessings. And the problem is that I'm playing with the paint scheme still. I'm not satisfied with it. I've painted like 6 or 7 of them, but I want to make them a little bit darker. So I'm still finding my paint scheme, I guess. Right now, I am using Army Painter. Hold on a second. Where is it? I am using AK's splitter muster. What a great name for a paint. And Army Painter Cultist Robe. I don't even know where they are.
I have a question. Was it MUSTER or like the condiment?
Oh, muster. Hold on, I'll put it up here if it's not backwards. I don't
Oh
think
yeah,
it is.
okay. So not like the
Splitter muster. It's sort of a mud. I really like these third generation AK interactive paints because they don't require very much thinning. They're almost thin enough out of the pot, which is actually bad because you're getting less paint for the money because it's like pre-thin. Whereas the old Army Painter Cultist Robe, this stuff is about as thick as toothpaste. You have to thin it a lot,
Yeah, I've got that color somewhere.
but you get a
Although
lot. But to thin
I'm
it,
actually right.
yeah.
Oh, I'm just like I'm so behind. Like I'm looking for this color, and it's almost impossible to find because they stopped like kind of making it. Now it's
What
they
is
only
it?
make it
I
in.
can't see it.
Uh,
My
it's a demonic yellow army painter.
oh, demonic yellow army painter. Do I have any
It's
demonic
very
yellow?
much
Hey,
like
wait
the
a minute.
old.
You mean this one?
Yeah, but that's is that the fanatic?
No, it's the army painter war paints demonic yellow.
Yeah. That exact. Yeah, your bottle just looks less, ancient than mine. So it's like it looks like the new
But I
label.
for a similar, I prefer um Pro Acryl's warm yellow.
Okay. It reminds me so much of that classic Games Workshop yellow. I forget what it was. What's up,
But
James?
that's what it's supposed to be. It's a color match. It says it's a color match of that old yellow. And then for white, Pro Acryl's Golden So Flat White is the best white ever made. It's a high pigment density white, so you can use it to lighten tones and it's pure white. It's so good. I actually bought a tube of it for Brian from World War II like about a year ago. He was out of white paint. He put on his stream he was out of white paint, so I just ordered a bottle of it on Amazon and had it shipped to his house.
James, maybe it's just where I was looking. I was looking at this place called Gnomish Bazaar that's right here in California, and they just sell all kinds of crap, but their prices are great. And because it's in California, I could have it by Friday because I was working on this crane and just trying to yellow up the yellow a little, but at the same time, I still am trying to make it look grungy and beat up and worn out instead of pristine and right off the assembly line. I wanted all this stuff to look dirty and used and whatnot.
Also, James L., if the strange hour is because a ghost, you can tell them to go away.
Well, I think in a land that doesn't exist, a make believe place, everything there is going to be strange. And having talked to James, millions and millions of times, uh, yeah. How
You're
you
talking
doing,
about
guys?
Australia?
Yeah. Of course.
Okay. Oh my
It's
God.
funny too because like Jackie and I
Go ahead.
use that joke about Australia all the time around other people who don't know the joke, and they're like, "What are you talking about? Australia's a real place." And I was just like,
But yeah, speaking of Australia, so Archon, aka Alexander McCree's, like he's about to send out books again. Guess who came along and asking why the shipping prices are so high just for 2 books? All the Australians. Yeah.
"It's 2 a.m. there. Oh my god!" I did that a while ago. I fell asleep and I thought I slept like 12 hours when I only slept like 2 or 3. So I was rushing to get a video out. It was kind of weird. Because I never do that. I never sleep more than like 1 or 2 hours uh, without having to wake up to pee or something, or this guy here down here, him waking up having to pee. What the hell are you doing to my
Okay,
carpet?
the dog.
Yeah. He's literally chewing on. Hey, knock it off! Knock it off! He's like licking the carpet, and that just can't. I can't understand how any part of that could be enjoyable.
I can't answer that. Like I
No
know
joke.
like why they rub their ass on things or like why they maybe eat feces, but licking the carpet, that's beyond me.
Hey, it just sounds like.
There's a South Park joke in there someplace.
I mean, there's a South
Yeah,
Park
yeah.
joke. Every place you just have to work it into the main plot.
Hello, how are you?
Speaking of South Park, I kind of like them more when I maybe not always liked like the toilet humor, but I liked them more when they weren't like doing the jokes about the current thing, which I know that's like a decade or more ago.
Yeah,
Oh wait,
they're they're
almost two
weird,
decades ago.
crazy. Yeah. They're weird, crazy, in-house, in-universe things like the aliens in the first one,
Yeah,
or any of that stuff was far better than trying to be topical and poke fun at whatever's going on in the real world. That's why we watched the show, was
yeah.
to get away from that. Kind of
I
like
will
gaming.
say though, the
Get
show
it
got unironically funny when Trump won because they were one of the people who thought Hillary going to run. So they had to rewrite everything, and they instead of using the normal method, they usually do like this happens because of that or something like that. They just wrote something, and it was a wreck, and it was kind of funny, but not the material itself, just the meta thing of like how they try to salvage it. But
Yeah,
yes,
I
I
kind of
agree
stopped.
that the original in universe things were better.
Yeah, I think I stopped watching South Park right around 2005, maybe a little later. Uh, and the wife, she and Jackie started watching it with that Prince Harry episode where they were going around the world telling people to stop, you know, following them. Their uh, "Don't
Yeah.
Follow Us" tour. Um,
Okay, so you
because she
apparently stopped watching it by season 8 or 9.
no, oh, okay, me, yeah.
If it was
Uh,
2005.
yeah,
Man, that's an
and
old show.
she literally watched it like 10 times. Like every time she turned on the TV, she'd watch that same episode because she's got she loves the whole uh, whatever family, the royal family nonsense. Trying to understand what was going on because she just didn't get the joke of what the whole show was, trying to you know point out. It took a while, I think.
Yeah. I think the last good thing South Park made were the two video games, but
Right?
that's because it made in the old style and the current. No, bye, Bo.
Hello.
Oh, okay. Now you're back. But they still like have progressed time. So like, oh, the first one is about Facebook, and the second one is about forgot what it's about, but other than superheroes. But
Yeah.
that's the only current thing they have in it is oh, we're in this time period.
Jackie has, I think he has the Stick of Truth, and I did watch the the video that was like the whole
Yeah,
game, but fast forwarded without all the nonsense of actually playing it, just because I was curious to see what the story was, and it popped up, and I was like, okay, this is fun, but that was probably the last thing I watched,
yeah. I
like
would say
series.
I really like the game, but I will admit the abortion clinic was very rough to get through. Also because I don't like abortions, but yeah.
It's funny, James L. I've been coming across these goth videos. They're little shorts, and to me, it seems like they're just punks with like a new look or a goth look, because the way they act is literally just the way the punks acted in my day, you know. But they just look different, and like I don't know, is that the way it evolved? You,
It's probably more like an aesthetic nowadays as opposed to a very nerdy lifestyle. So you're
well,
probably
yeah,
right, but they're more punk than yeah,
yeah.
actual.
With the like the addiction to monsters, and the drinks, and the rude behavior, just you know barging into a situation, and the spitting and the just all kinds of rude, obnoxious
Yeah,
behavior.
I think the spitting and the rudeness, that's more like because they're playing into the thing of what do you say, guys who like to be stepped on.
Or something, but it's always like the girls are always like doing it to people who aren't into that. Is kind of the joke. Where they'll be like hitting on the guy with the camera. Uh, in a way that is not genuine or real, but and the guy's always running away when most guys wouldn't. Because that was never a thing in my day either. Neither the punks nor the goths wanted to hook up with anybody. That was the whole thing. It's like uh, like a violent form of celibacy.
Oh yeah, I definitely remember. Like James Ellis said, like goths in the rave scene or like cyber goths. Although the cyber
Cyber
goths are kind of
gods.
silly with their dreads and their fake dreads.
Kids these days, right?
To be fair, that's not these days. It was like 20 years ago. But
Yeah, because
yes,
we don't have any of that here. All we have are uh, it's everything is really urban looking and like absolutely no color coordination, no style. It's just logos on everything.
uh,
It's just it's kind of retarded. You ask me. Yeah, none of that. Jackie's more like that than they are.
I will be honest. Jackie's kind of okay. I've made this joke several times, but it kind of reminds me like of English or a Spanish aristocrat
Oh yeah, yeah.
or
Yeah,
gentleman.
he's like the Spanish H.P. Lovecraft, literally. Um,
I think his mental health is a bit better than that.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. But he's really big into the horror
Yeah.
stuff. Ever since I'm going to say probably Five Nights at Freddy's got him, moving that way. If there was something else, I don't remember what it was, but he loves all those like horror babble and maybe not that one, but
Yeah, Five
anybody who's
Nights at
talking about.
Freddy's. That aligns with how old he is. That was maybe his
Uh,
first horror video game. Also because it was available on like mobile and tablets, not just PCs.
and SCP, he was big in that. What's up, Off Grid?
I was
My
too.
favorite
Then
recommendation.
OG.
it
But
not just
yeah,
became big, but also just like got infiltrated, so to speak. And there's also the problem with SCP that there's a lot of writers there that should just make their own thing instead of like putting their short stories in that universe.
mhm. But it was a good place to get him started in
Oh yeah.
down that road. Uh, Jackie's also a big fan of Wendigoon, who is very accessible. I was surprised the kid's only 25, 26 years old.
Oh yeah, Wendigoon, he looks both mature and young at the same time. Like you think like
Mhm.
he's 30 something, but a very young looking 30 something.
Yeah.
But no, he just got a well, not a quick start to life, but he had a good start to life, and apparently
Mhm.
looks young. But
Well,
and then there
yeah.
is his friend Meat Canyon, who he's fat. That's,
Okay, I never
that,
heard of.
yeah, you have probably seen his animation and hated it because he is one of those. He is very into slapstick, but he also like dark humor animation where like everything is exaggerated.
Okay, what's up, Mobius?
Hey, Mobius.
So you guys got any big projects coming up? Big games, anything like that?
What are you, Bo?
No, I've got nothing. I've become kind of I don't want to say disillusioned, but it's hard to find like Shadow's video this morning about the wandering monsters, and we got to talking about how really nobody wants to use any of the classic monsters anymore because everyone else already played them all. But I never played them all. I never got to play them, so I just feel kind of closed out
Missed the
from
boat.
the FOMO. Yeah.
I
So
don't think that's.
I just I guess I was telling Shadow I want to play a game. I want to have that classic experience, and I was kind of thought that we'd have a game that would have some of those classic experiences, but then people just started dropping out left and right. So
Yeah.
with
Like
people with nobody playing, then I don't get to have those classic experiences.
I've been noticing lately, uh, I realized last night in Blood Wars game that I've been playing online for about 4 years now. And hey, what's up, Mike? And it's a completely different experience playing online. With people, digitally. This kind of, Zoom calls, whatever you want to call it, uh, mode of playing that is a lot more different than I thought it would be when I went into it. And it's weird because like the kids downstairs when they're playing, they'll play from like noon to 9. Okay, on whatever day it is, they start showing up at noonish, and 9 they start filing out, getting rides, getting picked up, or just leaving on their own. But some of them can actually drive, and when they leave, they're still energized and still excited, blah blah blah. But they got to go. Whereas when I'm playing with these old geezers online, after 3 or 4 hours, I'm just like I'm burned, you know, because there's no energy. There's not, and I try to bring it. Ask anybody who's been in a game with me as a player, like Mike will tell you, unless I'm falling asleep, right, Mike? I'm trying to crack jokes and do stuff, but it's like the screen, just like maybe there's something to it, the blue light or whatever they call it. It just
there are
drains.
some to that, and then there's also you're sitting down. You're not like getting up occasionally. Not you specifically, like the plural you. And what do you call it? And then you also said all geezers. A lot of us don't have the energy we used to have,
Hmm. Hmm.
and it's not like you just can inject thyroid into yourself to compensate for age.
Well, I mean, let's face it, Mike. Most of us, or at least me, never really planned on getting this old, let alone still playing these games and these hobbies at this age. I honestly, you know, my old man died at 44. My grandfather, a little bit older. Here I am, almost 20 years older than they are, and I'm still kicking and still gaming. Uh, it just it's like I said, it's a completely different. Hey, what's up, James? Speaking of keezers,
Hey,
it's a completely different thing. Like, okay, James, you play live, right? How you doing?
Doing wonderful. How are you, Shadow?
I'm doing okay. We were just talking about the difference between in person and online gaming. You play all your games in person, right?
Yes, sir.
How long are those sessions?
4 to 5 hours, depending on how tired the construction workers are.
Okay, and um, is that including like hello and goodbyes?
Yeah, there's probably about 30 minutes of just pure at the beginning bullshitting around while everybody's getting their characters out and recapping and talking about girlfriends and boyfriends and whatever.
Right. Hello and goodbye. Um,
Right.
and but you said you guys, after 4 hours or so, you guys do get tired.
Well, I have a number of people at my table, like 3 of them, and they work construction. They're outdoors all day, right? So I can always tell when it's about time to end a game by if I see those guys start getting really worn down, which is
And do
why
you
I
guys
moved my game from Sunday to Saturday so they could have a day of rest.
and do you start like midday, evening? Like what time do you start?
Oh, we're generally rolling dice by 7:10, 7:15 p.m.
Okay, so it's not early, but it's definitely well. I mean, it could be considered late if you eat dinner at 4:30.
And then we go to
Like some of us
11,
on
sometimes
Tuesdays.
midnight.
Okay,
Yeah. And my wife
so
will usually make some kind of casserole or something, so everybody there's always food.
so compared to when you were younger, it's definitely about like what half the time at the table.
Oh God. Yeah. We used to game for like all day.
Right.
Like
So
Saturday we'd get
so
together at noon and we wouldn't stop playing until like after midnight. It was
So
nuts.
age is a huge factor. Do you think though, if if you could in like a perfect senior world, like you all lived at the same senior center, right, and you all game together, and you started at like 10:30 noon, on a Saturday, do you think you'd be able to, you know, play till midnight?
Assuming I gave a couple of the people breaks to go out in the backyard and smoke, yeah.
Okay, so it's not
But
entirely
I
age, but
mean,
age is a huge factor,
yeah, it's not age at all. It's jobs and
right?
other obligations. When you're like 15, what are your obligations? Like chores,
Right.
homework?
Well, because when I was in college and working, we still managed to play 6 8 hours almost every day of the week. There was a decade where
Oh,
uh, five, we would play, I want to say like 5 to midnight every single day, and the people that came to my place would still have to drive home, and some of them would have to drive for an hour, so they wouldn't be getting home till 1. But everybody then was between 26 and 32 years old, still pretty young, but it was an everyday thing that we did versus
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, but there's a lot of other things going on that we haven't even considered. Okay, look, let's say it's Thursday night and I want to play a game, right? One, I got
mhm.
to make sure that the house is clean. Two, I got to make sure the kids are fed. Three, I got to make sure all the bills and everything are paid. Then I can sit down and play a game.
yeah, that's kind of exactly what I was talking about with why our
That's weird.
games
I don't
are the
have
way
any of
they
those
are
problems.
now. Mike, what's up, homie? But yeah, because like he said, now my kids have moved out, so I
Mhm.
don't have that. But my wife is very crazy about making sure our house is spotless before anyone steps in it. And I do half the chores if I can. So yeah, exactly what he said. Now it's not a matter of hanging out in our, dorm room with like beer cans stacked to the ceiling and just playing the game. I mean, there's all kinds of, yeah, I played in the army because like everyone in the army plays some role playing game. And it's like, it's totally different because there's all these extraneous other things going around the
Mhm.
thing. And hi, Dean, by the way. Hello. I see you, bro.
Hello.
Hello. But no, that is a good question, Shadow. That is a really good question. And yeah, I think age does matter, but it's not your age. It's just as you get older, you start getting obligations that get in the way of I mean, sure, I'd love to play D&D 12 hours a week, but I just can't. It's just not
Mhm.
feasible.
Well, yeah, because
Or
you're
talk
streaming,
about it,
50
100
hours a
hours
week.
a week, right? You know, and I paint
And,
every day.
but I think that that's one of the real advantages. Love him or hate him, that the 4D guys and the 3D guys, whatever, they're saying, look, if we're going to role play, if we're going to sit down for 3 hours, then let's maximize the quality of our time. And you know that when you really play like that, that sucks the energy out of you too.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Playing with
definitely.
Rick, when it was just him and me or the other guys, and doing the 4D thing. There's a lot more pressure because of the social contract is like binding. It's like it's very strict, and it's completely different. At a regular table, if you make an off-color joke, everybody will just like throw dice at you and groan. But if you like say something out of character at a 4D table, the freaking daggers and laser beams that come firing out of those
Shadow,
eyeballs, cause
point of
actual physical
privilege.
damage. Sure.
What is 4D?
It
Plus
has
that
nothing to do
detail.
with time. First off, go ahead, Shadow.
No, no, it's not
Uh,
time.
4D is where you play 100% completely in character. There's no out of character talk and absolute minimal game mechanics talk. And that's only by the referee. The closest you'll come to game talk is telling him the number you rolled on the dice that you were supposed to roll for the given situation, and then move on back into character play.
I've
Like
never
total
seen that.
hardcore in character
And
role play.
and 4D also has an element of collaborative DMing almost when you're the player. If I'm the player in a 4D game and I sit down at a table, and if the DM does not describe what the table looks like, I will take it upon myself to describe what the table looks like. I'll say I sit down at an old brown wood table because the DM never described what the table is, and all the players agree in that social contract that that kind of collaboration is not only fine
Yeah,
but
I like
it's
that.
encouraged.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
that part I don't have a problem with at all. That's
uh,
Whereas
perfect.
I absolutely have a huge, massive problem with some aspects of that, in that it can be abused or it can completely change the entire um, like theme or motive of the session, where any unscrupulous player can bend the entire situation to only their benefit.
I think you're right, and I think that that's again that contract in a 4D game. If someone does do that, then they are invited to not come back. It does
So
require a
you
great
look
degree of
like you're
trust.
concentrating
Now,
hard.
the only being in character for the whole session, they would call that 3D gaming,
Mm. No, I was
which
just
is
saying
fine.
Dean looked
I
like
really
he had
like
something on
3D
his mind.
the 3D gaming. I've kind of incredulous, no, dubious of the 4D because I haven't really I've only have one experience with it,
yeah.
and it
My
was
thing
okay.
with 4D is well, I have two things. First up, it's a horrible name. No one knows what it means by the name.
Well, they don't
Uh,
know what it means by the name.
okay. It just I heard several
How
people.
I go
Okay,
as far?
is this like I heard several people ask, like when they heard 4D, they think it's like, oh, it has it like to do with time, like we go between past tense and current tense. But
No,
no, it's
it's
not
just
that.
it's just when all the theater kids get
Yeah,
together and really nerd out on role playing games.
yeah. And
Ouch!
then
Shots fired.
my other thing, why I don't think I would be a good fit for it is sometimes I just want to talk about my character in third person, like he goes to do that, or I want to abridge what he's trying to do. I don't
As a
necessarily
DM, I
know
don't
which
think I would
There's
like
just
character.
4D either. Dean? I
So
don't
what?
think I'd like it. As a DM or GM or whatever we're calling ourselves these days, I don't think I'd like that very much.
Like,
yeah, yeah. Well, it's like this. Um, it's kind
I
of like
like to
another
keep it
group.
light and breezy, Shadow.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Also,
We're here to
the
have
GMs
fun,
there.
play a game.
Right, right, right. I don't need you know being uh, tone police, but in a different, not tone, but game police. Uh,
For those who like it,
between
though,
dual
more power
players
to them.
and.
I mean.
oh
But
yeah, that's
the
a
other
great
thing
thing.
is I don't like anything that takes away from the DM being doing what we've always done, turning us into just referees with absolutely no control over anything. If I put a freaking big black castle with an anti paladin on the hill next to the town you live in, like in Phineas Fingers, I don't want the players just freaking erasing that because they don't want to freaking deal with it because they're
No, I
not in
don't
the
think that's
mood.
part of 4D. I think that's a little bit hyperbolic, but I
I,
understand the
yeah,
point.
I'm trying to be hyperbolic because that's in a game of fantasy. It doesn't take much to go right into that territory and go, okay, DM, we don't need you anymore. Okay, cool. I'm just going to roll up a character and join in and fuck you guys because you just kicked me out of my own damn world. No, we build worlds so that people can go and explore them, but those worlds need some overseeing. Not, well, okay, you guys just make your own world and I'll go find some other group of people to hang out with. You know what I mean? Because that's what's going to happen in that, and not just that, but in other new ways of or old ways of playing. World builders are, or at least for me, world building and playing the NPCs is why I like being a GM. Don't get me wrong, I love being a player too. But if I've gone to the trouble to create something for the people to enjoy, well, if they're not enjoying it and they don't want to be part of that, that's fine. I don't need to be there.
Hmm.
I think I have experienced that before, but that's more like friends who want to play with me because we are friends, but they don't necessarily like my GM style. Then they're like really quiet during the sessions, except for like out of character stuff.
Yeah, since I
And that,
always play with the same people for like now, some of them over 2 or 3 decades, I think I get to avoid a lot of the stuff that people who play online have to deal with because I mean, you're playing with
Clearly,
people who you don't know, and they're that getting in. That's why like DM Bloodworth, his games they start and then they die, and it's because he's playing with people online, and half the time, half of those people decide to quit the game,
or not
and
show
that sucks.
up, or
Not
yeah,
show
yeah.
up, do whatever they want, and that
The
sucks.
online gaming scene, if you will, or lack of social uh, contract, because people will leave at the drop of a hat and feel no remorse whatsoever, not even like a real apology or thank you for your time, just like I'm out, or I can't make it, sorry, you guys are,
or
SOL.
they just straight up lie to you and say like, "Oh, I got busy, GM," and then you talk
Yeah,
with them
yeah, when
later,
they
and
just
it's like,
didn't,
"Oh, I didn't like that player, and I didn't want to start conflict." And it's like, dude, we could have talked it out without conflict.
whereas like DM James's in-person games, all that crap could be settled with, we're going to take it outside, or a stern talking to, all kinds of different normal ways people actually handle things. Online, it's too easy to be your worst self,
Yeah,
or your lazier self, or whatever you want to
Right
call it.
there,
and
Shadow,
Kate,
you you
oh, go
you
ahead.
you nailed it 100%. Online players, I mean, but we all know how it is. Like we're talking here, and this is awesome. But there's kind of a difference between communicating by text or by whatever, Discord or
Yeah.
whatever, and actually sitting close enough to someone to smell them. It's like notice the look on their face when they say something. You
Oh,
know this
absolutely.
nuance.
Like me and Bo, we were having a conversation, a couple days ago, I think, and
Bo is
it
painting
comes
minis.
across in text way different than it does in person. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It just does. I can't tell you how many times have gotten like pissed off at each other because they're freaking typing when they've got a button right there. They can just go boop. Hey, what's up, man? What the fuck? Oh, no, no, I didn't mean it like that. I meant it like this. And then you can tell if they're lying by looking at their face, hearing
well,
their
pretty much
voice.
everything can be handled with just a little talking, right? Pretty
Should be.
much.
And
I
Bo,
I
are
mean,
you
unless limbs are
painting
involved.
a Death Guard Terminator?
No, it's just a plague marine.
Oh, that's why he's so fat.
Yeah,
uh,
he's pretty fat. I got like 30
They
of them on
love
the table,
rolling
and,
with
and the
the
thing
Z,
is,
right?
they
Sure.
don't got quite as much trim as like a straight chaos marine, but they got a lot of freaking trim.
Right. Right.
Lucky
Chaos
bastard.
Marines are a nightmare to paint because of all that trim and
Over everybody's
everything.
head. Okay, fine.
But
But
I am gonna.
I
I've
just
got like
kept
I've
in
said,
it
I've
and I
got
was like,
about.
is he painting Death Guard?
I've got so many of these guys to paint, and I'm not playing, but I am painting. So
Hey, it's a multifaceted hobby, right? I'll take cake. I don't want death. But
Right, right.
yeah, damn Shadow,
Yeah,
that
James,
was a
that's
good question right off the bat, and I'm barely awake.
lucky you. I've been awake since 7:30, and God, I wanted to go back to sleep. I was having the greatest dream that I can't talk about. But anyways, uh,
Called a
James,
19-year-old
that's why
Vietnamese girl.
we've got to vet our players uh, in the real world and online, and it's easier in the real world because you can use that deductive reasoning and walk into a game shop. There's four different tables, and you got these guys, you got these guys, those guys, and those guys, and you can easily like do this subconscious math, adding and subtracting details and facts and figures, and go, yeah, that table looks more like the guys I can hang out with versus these other three online. I mean, there are people I've played with for years, and I still don't know what they look like.
Uh, I used to run a table at an adventure league at our local game store, and they made sure you never had the same players 2 weeks in a row. So
kind of like that.
you just learn to roll with it. You know what I mean? Because it's like they wanted to make sure every player got to play at every table. And then that was, I think, fourth edition, and they'd give us those little packet of adventures, and basically you ran the little adventure they gave you, which
That
I
sounds
lucked
like a
out because
horrible.
the guy who owned the store let me keep all of the keep on the borderland packets, and I
Nice.
still have them. So I'm pretty, you know,
That
I'm
sounds like a
proud of the guy.
horrible amalgamation of speed dating and role playing games.
Well, no, the game would
I
go
don't want to be
on
forced to
for
play with.
hours and hours, but you
No,
just
but I mean
never knew
the idea you
who
have
you
to play
played
with
with.
these guys now. It's like fuck those guys. I don't want to play with them.
Well,
You
no, but
know,
they're
Yeah,
guys you
it
don't
wasn't like
know.
rotating tables,
I'm
even
being
Shadow. It was
facetious,
like
guys.
random players. So,
What do you mean,
all I
James?
had to do is just put on the charm and be like, okay, here we go.
I'm not
But
sure what you
yeah,
mean with that, James L.
That we talk more about playing than we play.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
Uh,
I hate that.
yes, but in lieu of playing and like for people like me, James, I learned so much by being able to talk to other DMs as well as
oh yeah,
players.
before the internet,
Oh
you
my
had to
God, you
actually
guys,
seek out
you
other
have no
people.
idea how much I have learned because, like James, I played with the same 20 people for a long time, a very
JV.
long time. Some would come and go, but there were the same 20 people. And then when I started playing online, and mind you, out of those 20 people, I was the only GM. So, everybody, kind of, kissed my ass. I'm going to be honest. You're the DM. So, and they were having fun. We were all having fun. But I didn't understand and realize that sort of situation that was going on and other huge mistakes I was making that made me really a bad DM for many years until I started playing online. I was learning things that you would think I would have learned, but in those kind of situations you don't. And getting to meet all these other literally 90% of the people I hang out with are DMs of some skill or another, but the different perspectives and these conversations have led me to learn a lot about what I was doing wrong, how I could do things better, watching people like Seth Skorkowski, the seven Dungeon Master sins. I was like doing all of them regularly once upon a time. Dean,
Are we running 10 more minutes, or are we running longer today?
I don't know.
Okay.
What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I don't care.
It's
I
just
have stuff I have to
you.
do, but not right this second.
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure because we are over an hour.
We went over 2 yesterday, so
Ah,
it's probably gonna veer toward the longer than the shorter, depending on the day of the week.
fair enough.
And yes, the Sword and Stones, you're late to the party. We're just getting ready to end. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But
We're gonna
I
stay a
will
few more
Mirko
minutes.
Kowski, he makes really great videos. But from my understanding, like his role playing style as a player is a very not interrupting style, but he interjects a lot, which from my understanding doesn't look that well on video, but works fine at a home group.
I don't know really anything about him. I know that his video on social encounters made me about 18 shades of mad. It was probably the worst. Like
Who?
if there's never been a video that I've disagreed with more than his
Who?
video on social encounters. Seth Skorkowski.
Seth
Oh, okay.
Skorkowski, yeah. Well, he
His video
plays.
on social encounters was to me, so wrong because it was so not old school. But
Do you have a
The
video
thing, Seth Skorkowski
explaining how you
runs
do it?
real players at his table, and he runs when he plays fantasy games, predominantly Conan 2.20 or mostly AD&D. And then Cyberpunk is another big
yeah,
game
I've
for
seen him on a lot of. He
Call,
does
Call,
a lot of
Call,
videos on Cyberpunk and a lot of videos on Call of Cthulhu, but
Call
I
of
don't
His
know
main
Cthulhu,
anything
yeah.
one
about
is
him.
Call of Cthulhu, and it jumps between what do you call it? The main one, mainline one, and Pulp Cthulhu.
Oh yeah,
Right.
And
I said I
I
don't know
mean,
him from Adam's apple.
I agree with Bo, but like,
I don't remember the video, but I'll take a look if somebody send me a link.
Yeah, it was about 2 or 3 years back. He just did a video about it's the whole playing your character sheet versus playing your character. And
Mhm.
social encounter seems to be the one position where everybody just wants to roll a d20 and say, "Look, I charmed the princess," without actually doing any role playing.
Mhm.
yeah, I don't
well,
like that
his
Well,
either.
I mean, to be
I am
fair,
strongly against that.
well, what I remember
to
from the
be
video is he is playing your games where there are social skill checks. But what I remember is like what the video was mostly about is when you can abridge stuff and when you can like ease people into it, so it's not just like people talk over each other's head. That's what I got from
well,
the video.
here's the problem I see immediately with that bow. If I have on my character sheet a skill that gives me like a massive bonus to social encounters, schmoozing or lying or deception or things like that, then what is that for if I'm going to have to be forced to role play that because you don't get to add plus 25% to what I just said,
Well, you can try to, but the thing is, when you start
right?
saying that, you wonder where it stops. Do we do okay? If we're going into combat and my character is an expert tactician, can I just say, "Hey, DM, I rolled a 20. Go ahead and put my guys would be the best way on the best place in the field for them to fight." Or I know there's a puzzle in this room, but I don't want to solve the puzzle. I just want to roll an intelligence check. So
Uh,
the whole game becomes a
those are
series of mechanics instead of an actual game. There's no end to where it can go in terms of replacing human interaction with a die roll.
something that everything you just said is depending on the situation is completely valid from two different points of view. The game designers, if they're going to do and put those kinds of rules in there, should put a section on yeah, let the character sheet run the game because the characters, like you said, I've got a tactics 5 and traveler. Where's the best place to put set up? And the GM's just like fuck. What? I don't know. We got to roll this shit out, right? I mean, you could think that this is the best place, but unless the GM skews it to make you right, it's not because random
But
shit happens.
I think my point is, it just becomes a series. We just show up and roll dice instead of actually playing any kind of game. And there might be a way to find balance there, but I'm not asking if you're playing a character with a strength 18, I'm not asking you to actually bend the bar or lift the gate yourself.
Mhm.
I'm asking as both as a player and as the potential referee to show some effort as a player instead of just rolling an 18 because it does what it does is you're asking the DM to tell you a story. I roll an 18. What happens next? No, that's not how these games are supposed to work.
Right.
I mean
But-
that there we go back to what do you call it? Knowing knowing when to abridge what your character do versus explaining every step. Because like in that situation, you could just say what you call it. My character does what do you call it? Basically, you tell like what the not direction, but like how. Okay, what's the English word? Not the precise detail, but the spirit of what you're trying to do, and then you can resolve it with a die roll. That's how I always been told you're supposed to do it if it somehow needs to be abridged through game mechanics.
Unfortunately, the hobby is full of people who are incredibly socially awkward,
Yeah.
and sometimes for them, rolling up a character who's not doesn't mean they can play him the way that character would act,
Oh
and
yeah,
they're trying
that's
to.
also what I like I said like what I got from Seth's video is like the balance between actually role playing your character, and sometimes it's okay just saying this is what you're trying to do. Here's the angle they're going. There we go, the angle.
Because believe it or not, I've met more than a few people in the role playing game hobby who don't want to role play. They'll just tell you and get angry, very angry even, when people start role playing and taking up their valuable game time because they're freaking hamming it up in character and they will never do that. And they find it, you know, unfun to have to sit through that because they don't care. They just want to get on to the next room with the next group of monsters and let the DM narrate in between.
That sounds like a combination of a story game and a war game. And if you
Yep.
want to play a story game or a war game, there are story games and war games.
Yep.
But that's not neither one are actually role playing games.
But when it says role playing game on the box, the book, the cover, etc., they think they're doing the thing, and the theater kids are ruining their good time trying to freaking hog the spotlight.
And unironically, I know I joked about saying 4E, but yes, 4E is a what do you call it, a skirmish game, and what was the second thing you
Right,
said?
it's a war game.
Yeah, well, skirmish war game.
Right.
And what was the second thing you said? Or the first thing?
Story game or story
Yeah,
gaming?
yeah, it's a story game and a skirmish game. 4E.
Well, it's a story game for the GM and a skirmish game for the players.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but just say that, or explain that somewhere versus, calling it a role playing game or calling it something else. But
I mean,
then,
that was the
going,
biggest, not mistake, but like the biggest fault of 4E was that like it was a great adventure slash skirmish game that they made because World of Warcraft was popular and they wanted that money. But then they lost the role playing aspects. But yes, Frostgrave is a great story slash war game, as a Cake or Death game said.
Right. It's sort of a campaign skirmish game.
Yeah.
I like what Mike says here: role play, then roll. It's pretty succinct. And if you can't, do the one, if you're not like really good at role playing, you got two choices or three choices the way I see it. Well, maybe four. But not playing at all is not really a choice if you're already, invested. Let everybody know that you can't. You're uncomfortable doing it. You know what I mean? Because that's something that,
Yeah.
if somebody comes to the table and says, "Guys, I'm just really not good at that. I don't like doing it. I don't want to do it, but I still want to hang out and play." You'll be surprised how many people will let that kind of honesty bridge the gap, and just like we're going to make an exception for Joe because he's not into role playing, but when it is your turn, try try not to freaking go on with your monologue for more than a couple of minutes, because there's other people at the table who want to do their thing.
I will also say I met people who are great, what do you call it, role player, but as soon as they need to interrogate someone, they're fucking awful.
Well, that's a different.
Well,
That's a different skill set.
yeah,
I just
not
know
every.
that it's still usually covered under the
I'd be
same
kind
skill
of
roles.
worried if they were good at interrogating. Just saying.
I mean, yeah, but it's still like I more than once like tried to role play like a person being interrogated and like they push a little resistance, and then like let's look at okay, what are you offering, or like are you threatening him more? And then like it ended up in a
Sardinzar, welcome to the show.
circular argument.
We're just about to.
Bonus if you've got like a really, really good East German accent. They have face of making you talk.
Yeah, that reminds me of that office joke where it's like, have you heard my German knock knock joke?
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
knock
right.
knock.
Who's there?
There. Slap. We will
We
ask.
will- Exactly.
Yes, questions here. Well, as far as interrogation, at least you don't have a crazy character dancing around somebody strapped to a chair, cutting their ear off.
That's right. While Steelers' wheel plays in the background.
Is this a
Right, that happened in my game 3 weeks
Oh.
ago. So
Channeling their inner Mr. Orange? No, I can't remember which one he was.
you know what, Bo? I knew the second he strapped the guy to the chair what was going to happen to, because I've been at the table with this guy for decades, and I was like, "Here we go." The other players were not pleased.
Play Steelers' wheel stuck in the middle with you.
Yeah, it's just fucking evil. That's just evil.
Yeah,
he's neutral, so he can do it.
Well, if he has the right motivation, I guess.
Yeah, that's not neutral. There's nothing neutral about that.
Yeah,
if you're playing again, what's alignment mean to you?
You could be right.
Here's the thing:
he was doing it to was a cannibal. So
yeah,
it doesn't matter
there you go.
It doesn't matter who he's doing it to. If he's having fun hurting someone, he's evil.
Well, okay, yeah, you can't do it
because it's a great old one from the Cthulhu mythos. What do you want, man? Come on.
And again, alignment to me is not morality.
And in Hyperborea, neutral is not the neutral all the AD&D players remember.
Again, if he's having fun hurting somebody, that's evil. That's not. There's nothing good about enjoying the infliction of pain on others.
Yeah, but neutral has nothing to do with being good or evil.
I've had girlfriends who would disagree with you, Shadow.
That's a completely different thing, and you know it.
Yeah, but every woman is inherently chaotic neutral until proven otherwise.
There is no chaotic neutral
more
in
generous
Hyperborea.
And all men are chaotic stupid. Or lawful stupid.
Yeah, in Hyperborea, you either have lawful evil and lawful good, chaotic evil, chaotic good, neutral. That's it.
Well,
There's
I really liked the deep dives on the old D&D alignment recently.
Yeah,
because it explains so much about how the game works on the nuts and bolts level.
Yeah, I think it's retarded. To be honest, if you're going
a lot
to
of it's based on Moorcock.
Oh, it's not. Right. I mean, it's based, but it's also it's faction play and planar play. Alignment and planar play go together,
which has no absolute use or purpose in a first level game unless you know for a fact they're never going to die and it's going to come into play later. When you're playing low level games, what matters is good and evil.
I would also say,
and there's no reason to call it to have the words good, evil, and neutral in any sort of alignment or morality rules, unless good and evil actually mean what they mean and describe how you are.
Good and evil do mean what they mean, but they don't have anything to do with law, chaos, or neutrality.
Right, and why does every game have to have the Lords of law and chaos duking it out.
No, the chaos is like law and chaos are like the force. Gods still serve law. Law and chaos is like that's just with faction play. They're what factions you align with. There's
What if you
nothing
don't
to do with gods, except those gods also align with those factions.
What if you don't
Then you're neutral.
buy What if you don't buy
Or
into or want that as the subtext of the overall railroad you're about to throw the players on?
it's not. It doesn't have to do with railroading. It has everything to do with which factions would theoretically be aligned with one another.
Yeah, you
And
can't railroad the players if they chose the thing.
And it's
Right,
I don't see how
putting
alignment has
law
anything to
and
do with
chaos.
railroading anything. That's completely
Well, okay, let me
beside the
reword it.
point.
Why would law and chaos be more important than good and evil?
I don't think they are.
They kind of are when you put it in the three alignment the 3 point alignment system. Good and evil get thrown out the door and are meaningless because law, chaos, and neutrality are it, and there is no morality in the traditional sense. It's now like Bo
No,
said.
that I never said there was no morality. I said alignment has nothing to do with morality. That's a
Then why
completely
don't?
different statement.
What if we take alignment out and just put morality in and use the same 9 point or 3 point
Because
system?
now you've changed. You can do anything you want. It's your game. I'm not telling you how to play. I am telling you the roots of the game and how it was intended. That's what I'm saying. You can do whatever you want. I don't care. But
Yeah,
But
like
but
it,
then
in
again,
Travelers,
words
there is
have
no
meanings, and don't
alignment.
say that morality has to do. Pardon me. Don't say alignment is morality, because by then you're changing the definitions of the terms.
but
I'm not changing the definitions.
good and evil are morality.
Good and evil are morality. Alignment is not morality, because alignment is not good and evil.
Then why does alignment have good and evil in it?
It does in AD&D because Gygax was a fuckwit who put it in AD&D because he didn't want to give money to Arneson. Look, if Arneson would have stayed in D&D, how different would it have looked? There would have never been an AD&D, because that was just Gygax throwing out the baby with the bathwater.
Yeah, I'm interested, Bo, because I really don't know much about Arneson except for what that video of Griff said. How did Arneson do, like, the whole alignment morality system?
Well, I mean, D&D, OD&D, white box D&D, cardboard brown box D&D just has 3 alignments, right? Law,
Right.
chaos, neutrality. And that's just, what side you're on in the grand, like if the Battle of Armageddon happened tomorrow, which side would you be on? Would you be on the side of
So
law with the
Morgoth.
unicorns and the gold dragons? Would you be on the side of chaos with, I don't know, Tiamat and orcs? Think about it from like what's that, Battle of the Five Armies perspective from like The Hobbit, right?
Right.
If everybody lined up, which side are you on? That's what alignment is.
Right, but everything you just said, the gold dragon, the unicorns, to me, I don't see law, I see good. To me, what you just told me by saying those, or the opposite, it's good and evil. I don't see law as synonymous with and a viable replacement for the word good. It's literally like they chose those three titles so that the people who were less defined and uncomfortable with calling themselves one or the other
No,
could
because it's the difference between, look, it's physics, right? It's basic physics. On one side, order; on the other side, entropy.
Mhm.
Entropy is not good or evil. Order is not good or evil.
I disagree.
There are lots of, Nazis were in favor of order. Were they good or evil?
They were evil.
But were they in favor of order?
That.
They were 100% in favor of order. Everything had a hierarchy and everything was in its place. Everything was 100% where it was supposed to be. 100% order, no chaos at all.
Speaking
However-
of chaos, I still can't believe he's called Moorcock, and the sign for chaos is like a goatsea.
There you go. Oh, the Chaos Star?
Well, that's where
Yeah.
Warhammer stole their 8-sided
Yes, James Allen.
100%.
chaos
100%.
system.
Everybody
Yeah.
needs linemen. Yeah, see, I I I don't know how to put it into words, but I see uh, reality and games and everything in the black and white, good and evil, and everything else is just trying to disguise itself as to not be evil, or people shying away from good because of their own philosophical hangups.
Oh, I'm not
Yeah,
trying to
I
interject
get
my
that,
own
but
morality into a role playing game either.
see,
Well, I'm trying to
law
inject
and
any
evil can mean a
morality
lot of stuff
whatsoever.
too. They could have changed it, Shadow, to be law and chaos. I mean, it could have really been changed to be civilization versus barbarism,
Sure, sure, but I my problem is that it's too.
or
I've seen
selfless versus selfish.
too many people and too many gamers and too many games, uh, you know, end up being really ugly, evil power fantasies and excuses to allow people to indulge those fantasies with a group of people, and it kind of makes me sick to my stomach knowing how much of that I actually was part of, not realizing that that's what was going on
Yeah,
because
maybe, but
what I've
I'm
seen.
not willing to interject. I'm not willing to change the rules because I don't like the way some people played the game.
Well, there's lots of other games I've been exploring where they're not afraid of the good and evil, as opposed to like trying to hide it so people don't get their feelings hurt, or don't have to face the fact that the kind of person they really are is a despicable, murder hobo.
Hey, maybe you should look into baptism of fire. It would be right up your alley.
No, it wouldn't, because it's based on an earthly everything, and I'm trying to get as far away from that as possible. Seeing as how I look at reality, that I'm only going to be here for the shortest amount of time imaginable compared to an eternity elsewhere.
There you go. See, James, Shadows ready to join a join a monastery and
Which
spend the
is,
rest of his
I
life
think,
in
an incredibly
meaningful
respectable.
contemplation.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
Not wrong. You're not
incredibly
wrong, though.
respectable choice, but the different Shadows, I don't think what someone does in a role playing game reflects who they are, like, spiritually.
I after long and hard thought, I absolutely think it most certainly does. Um,
Well, I mean, then we find
and
ourselves
it's
at a
it's
point
it's
of
been over the
disagreement,
years.
but that's fine.
okay, so I just looked it up.
Yeah.
The top four most
Uh,
hipster Catholic orders are the Benedicts, the Carthusians, the
Of the
Autorians,
most
and
hipster
the
Catholic orders.
Carmelites. Those are the most hipster
Oh, I thought
ones.
the Carmelites were all nuns.
I didn't see what they were. I just saw which one are the most hipster ones.
Hipster.
Right.
Nice,
No,
nice,
he could
nice.
convert to Orthodoxy and just move into a cave and just stay there, because that's what Orthodox ascetics
Yeah,
do. They just
There
move
are, I
into a
think there are
cave and
Roman.
just stay
I
there.
think there are Roman orders that are pretty
Ascetic?
similar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure there are.
especially the
I
old,
just
especially the ones that are trying to get back to their roots. The
Here's the thing, Shadow. If what
Opus
you're
Dei.
saying is true, oh yeah, that was good. Yeah, if what you say is true, Shadow, then every dungeon master is evil.
I struggle with that every day. It's kind of
Because we make the
like
monsters do evil shit that we would never ever in a billion years like do in our real life. But
right,
let's not even. I mean, I I
or
I,
at
I fade to black when the orcs conquer a peasant village because I don't want to
mhm.
describe exactly how horrible that actually is. But
Some of us, no names, are not as generous or tactful or tasteful. Some of the things I've seen and some of the things I've done as a DM are probably gonna haunt me later on.
Well, if you're
It's like
ready to be
it's like
done, you've got my address. You can mail me. You can mail me your RPG books.
if I ever came to that point, Bo, I would literally light them all on fire. Um,
that's so
it's
funny
kind of like
because in Dark Age of Camelot, every time somebody said they're going to quit the game, everyone else would just respond with, "Can I have your stuff?"
right. Because even the selling of or giving away could just further. That's why I'm going to burn actually Death in Space and another RPG so that no one will ever be tainted by it. Um, it's
That other RPG is Hyperborea, isn't it? Admit it.
no. I am giving away a copy for the giveaway, but I won't burn it.
Good.
Just for you, James. Uh,
And no, you're not evil. Of course you're not evil. That's like saying Tolkien was evil because he wrote about all the bullshit
or CF.
Sauron got up to.
No, but there are some other things that there are other aspects or tangents of the argument.
I mean, you could even go really macro with this Shadow and say, well, then is God evil because, one of his creations did some evil shit? Of course not.
No, no, no,
He
no.
lost a third of all of his children.
Right. I
Book of
mean,
Revelation.
you gotta understand it pretending in a game to be a way is not who you are.
Let me
As a
ask you
matter
a
of fact, that's
question.
kind of wild. I just that's all I'm telling you. You're a good
Anthony
person.
Hopkins is evil because he pretended to be a murderous cannibal.
Let me
Right.
ask you this
You're a
though.
good person, so if you pretended playing the bad guys doing shit, I mean, that doesn't mean
Yeah,
anything.
it's
It
the way I
literally,
look
we're all
at it most
fans
of
of
the
a
time.
hobby that at the end of the day means nothing.
The way
Whatever
I look at it
Shakespeare
is,
said, a play full of thunder and whatever, but signifying nothing.
good DMs are playing a game of challenging their associates to rise up and become better people in the hopes that they become the heroes that we all wish we could be. But this the folks out there that want plastic or rubber, I guess, replicas of a certain kind of people that are diminutive to act out their fantasies instead of doing it for real. Kind of, I'm kind of wondering,
Well, it's
is that
the
what
ability to separate reality from fantasy and to
Mhm.
realize that if I'm playing a lawful evil character in a game, and there's generally a reason I'm doing it, mainly because I like Hextor, kind of the might over everything.
Hey, George.
That has nothing to do with like who I am in reality, And
Real
if I
quick, I will
wanted the people at
head
my
out.
table to be better people, I wouldn't be doing it at a role playing game. I'd be sitting them down on the back porch and telling them to repent and be better people.
That's part of. Uh,
Garabayism. Yeah, yeah, D&D is the holy writ of the cult of Garaby.
yeah, I
Yikes!
No, I'm
I
not
I
saying
never want to say
evil
that
people
guy's
don't
name.
play D&D though. There's probably evil people who do play D&D and do evil shit, but
well,
that doesn't
that's my point.
mean.
Is I have seen those people. I've hung out with those people.
Well, you live
I've
in California. You're all those people.
exactly Methodist
It's like
Colorado.
Sodom and Gomorrah.
Guys, I will have to head out and make dinner. I will talk to you later.
All
Bye.
right, take care, Dean. Thanks for stopping by. Glad you're
Dean,
feeling better
hope you're
too.
feeling better, buddy.
I definitely do, even if I'm not 100% yet.
Thanks, James. Um,
Yeah, I mean, and
uh,
I may head out too, but I stand by what I said. Shadow,
all
you
right,
take it too
it's a
serious,
good
bro.
stopping
Calm
point.
down.
James, Bo, Dean, Cake, George, James L. Who else do we have in here
James L don't
today?
exist. He's in Australia. It's fake.
He's one of the best. What are you talking about? Off Grid Gamer, Squirrel Hermit, Mike. I'm going through everybody who's here. I don't want to miss anybody this time because I always do, and then I feel really shitty for like an hour afterwards. Swords and Stones, if you're still there. Da-da-da. I think that's everybody. Oh my god, we had a lot of people today. Uh, I
You
really
did.
appreciate
You
it, guys.
did very well today.
Yeah, I really appreciate these morning chats, and James, I'll try and hang out with you later on your show, and pay you back.
Well, assuming I don't have a list of honeydews that prevent me from,
There it
you know
is.
how it
Yeah,
is.
yeah. I've got a couple I've been putting off, but
And I have to go back to bed because I have a graveyard tonight.
Well, your miniatures are looking very good, very good.
We're trying. I appreciate it. For an old grognard like you, any compliment. But I've got so many of these guys. Oh my god.
Yeah, but they're
And then
so
I've got some of
good
the
on the
new.
table.
I've got some of the new Beast Men. That this group these I know these all these old grognards that they're playing 40K, but they're not playing tournament play. They're doing whatever they want basically.
Yeah, I play
So
7th edition.
so I got a bunch of the new Beast Men that I'm going to proxy as Plague Marines because there aren't enough Plague Marine scopes to go around.
Oh, those are nice.
And especially because every Plague Marine squad has one heavy melee guy. And a
Right.
bunch of the new Beastmen have like two-handed weapons. So one guy in every Plague Marine squad is going to be a Beastman with a two-handed axe or a two-handed club or whatever they've
See,
got.
I lucked out because my Chaos Army for Warhammer Fantasy
Yeah.
has like a full unit of Plague Gores.
Yeah, these
And
are the
that's
new
basically,
Pestigors are Nurgle Beastmen with two-handed weapons.
yeah, they're cool.
And I mean, James, we all know that Games Workshop, especially the 40K, will screw every chance they get. I
Yeah,
can't figure out why the same Age of Sigmar units are like 10 to 15% cheaper.
because they want you to play Age of Sigmar because no one's playing that shit.
Right, but I bought a unit of Pestigors to proxy in as my Plague Marine heavy weapons, heavy melee guys, and it was cheaper, and it makes for flavorful proxies, and they look good on the tabletop. People go like, "Dang, that's a pretty cool idea." Like these old
And
guys, like
Shadow's
older
trying to
guys,
do
like
his
that are like
thing.
our age,
So,
guys in their 50s. And
but no,
I
next time you want to talk about 40K, drop in. I'll talk 40K with you for hours.
no, I like I said, I will. I just I've got to go back to bed. I've got to be up
Yeah. I
I've
don't
got to be up
mean
at 6.
at any particular date. I'm just saying Shadow is just ending the
Yeah,
stream.
Shadow wants the stream to be done. All right, Shadwell.
Okay,
I think
Shadow, I'll catch you later or not.
take care, guys. Yeah, it's just weird. Everybody, take care, guys.
Peace
I'll
and
see you
love,
guys
bro.
later. Right back at you.